More. Have you ever asked yourself why you spend countless hours worrying about things you cannot control, when the one who holds the universe has already written your story? Let God handle it. Stop worrying, more start trusting. These words are not just a phrase, they are a way of living, a way of breathing. More, a way of shifting the weight of your life from your fragile shoulders to the unshakable foundation of divine strength. More, worry is like a chain around the soul, tightening with every thought of fear, doubt, and uncertainty. But trust is the key that unlocks that chain. More, when you stop fighting to control everything, you begin to witness the power of surrender. It is in letting go that you gain peace. More, it is in stepping back that you see the bigger picture. Life's storms may not calm instantly, but when you trust that God is at the helm, more, you no longer fear the winds or the waves. Imagine what your days would feel like if you truly believed that every challenge is part of a greater plan. More, every delay is preparation and every closed door is a redirection. Instead of lying awake at night rehearsing what could go wrong, more, you would rise each morning expecting things to fall into place. Trust does not mean ignoring reality. More, it means choosing not to let fear dictate your reality. So today I invite you to stop carrying burdens that do not belong to you. Release them. More, hand them over, and walk in the freedom that comes from trusting a power greater than yourself. Because when you stop worrying and start trusting, more, you don't just survive, you thrive. Release the burden of worry. These words carry a deep truth that many overlook in the rush of daily life. More, worry is not only a thief of joy, it is also a silent weight that drains the spirit, clouds the mind, and weakens the body. When you hold on to worry, more, you are trying to carry the load of tomorrow with the limited strength of today. It is as though you are holding a heavy stone in your arms day and night. More, never setting it down, never giving yourself permission to rest. The longer you carry it, the weaker you become, until you can hardly take another step. More, life was never designed for you to carry such a burden. You were not created to wrestle endlessly with every uncertainty, every fear. More, every unanswered question. That weight was meant to be placed in hands far stronger than yours. More, consider how much energy is wasted when you worry about things that have not even happened yet. The mind plays endless scenarios of what might go wrong. More, painting pictures of disasters that never come to pass. Hours are spent imagining the worst instead of embracing the present moment. More, worry creates illusions, and in chasing those illusions, you rob yourself of the peace that could be yours today. Think about it. More, how many of the things you worried about last year ever truly happened? And if they did you not survive them? More, did you not find strength you didn't know you had? Did you not see doors open where you thought there were only walls? Worry has never solved a problem. More, it has never lifted a burden. It has only added heaviness to the heart. When you release the burden of worry, you begin to discover freedom. More, it does not mean that you are ignoring responsibilities or pretending challenges don't exist. More, it means you are choosing to put those responsibilities in their proper place and trusting that there is guidance greater than your own. More, releasing worry is not laziness, it is wisdom. It is understanding that there are things you can control and things you cannot. More, and your peace comes from knowing the difference. Instead of clinging tightly to every detail, you learn to hold life with open hands. More, letting what is beyond your reach rest in divine care. There is power in saying, more, this is not mine to carry. That single decision begins to unlock chains that have bound you for years. Your mind becomes clearer. More, your body feels lighter. Your spirit breathes again. You step into a posture of trust, where you are no longer reacting in fear but walking in faith. More, and it is in that posture that solutions often come, doors often open, and strength often rises within you. Worry blinds you to opportunities. More, but trust sharpens your vision. Worry makes you see only the storm, but trust helps you see the calm that follows. More, imagine yourself standing at the edge of a river, holding a basket filled with stones. Each stone represents a worry: finances, relationships, health, more, the future. The weight is almost unbearable. Now picture yourself gently setting that basket down at the river's edge, more, watching the current take those stones away. You are still standing there, but now with empty hands, with a heart free to feel hope again, more, with a mind open to new possibilities. This is what it means to release the burden of worry. It is an act of surrender, but also an act of strength. More, life will always bring uncertainty. You cannot escape the unknown, but you can decide how you will meet it. Will you meet it bent under the weight of worry, more, or will you meet it standing tall in trust? Every time you choose to release your worries, you are making room for peace, clarity, and strength. More, you are allowing yourself to live fully in the present, rather than being held captive by fears of tomorrow. Releasing the burden of worry is not just a choice, it is a lifestyle, more a daily practice of handing over the heavy stones and walking forward with lighter steps, trusting that you are never alone in the journey. More, trust beyond sight is one of the greatest challenges of life, yet it is also one of the most powerful transformations a soul can experience. More, human nature desires control. We crave certainty, clarity, and visible proof before we take the next step. We want to see the road all the way to the horizon before we dare to walk. But true trust begins when the path is dim. More, when you cannot see more than one step ahead, and yet you move forward anyway. This is not blind ignorance. More, it is a conscious choice to place your confidence in something greater than your own understanding. Trust beyond sight is faith in motion. More, the kind of faith that does not require everything to be clear in order to keep going. More, think about how often life has brought you into situations where the outcome was uncertain. You may have faced moments where every door seemed closed. More, every option exhausted, and the future appeared dark. In those moments, the temptation is to panic, to worry, to try to force outcomes by your own strength. More, yet it is precisely in those times that the call to trust grows the loudest. Trusting beyond sight means saying, even though I cannot see the end, more, I believe there is an end worth reaching. It is choosing to believe that behind every delay is preparation, behind every obstacle is an opportunity. More, and behind every silence is an answer waiting to be revealed at the right time. This kind of trust is not easy. It stretches the heart, challenges the mind, more, and silences the ego that insists on knowing all the details. But when you step into it, something extraordinary happens. More, you begin to walk with peace instead of fear, even in uncertainty. You begin to rest even when circumstances around you are unsettled. More, you realize that your strength does not come from what you see, but from what you believe. The world may say, I'll believe it when I see it. But trust says, I'll see it because I believe it. That shift in perspective changes everything. More, it takes you from a place of striving to a place of surrender, from endless anxiety to quiet confidence. More, trusting beyond sight is like walking through a dark room with the assurance that there is a hand guiding you. More, you may not know where every piece of furniture is, but you are not stumbling alone. Each step reveals just enough light for the next. And as you continue, more, you learn that you don't need the whole map in front of you. You only need the faith to keep moving one step at a time. More, the beauty is that every step of trust builds a deeper relationship with the unseen hand guiding you. Over time, more, you become less dependent on your own sight and more confident in the one who sees all. There are times when trust requires waiting. More, waiting is one of the hardest tests because it feels like nothing is happening. Yet trust beyond sight understands that waiting is not wasted time. More, it is preparation, growth, and positioning. A seed does not sprout the moment it is placed in the soil. It rests in the unseen darkness. More, developing roots before it ever breaks the surface. Likewise, your season of waiting may feel hidden, but beneath the surface, more, foundations are being laid that will sustain what is to come. Trust is what keeps you rooted when you cannot yet see the fruit. When you begin to live with trust beyond sight, You stop being shaken by every unexpected turn. Challenges still come, storms still rise, more, but your heart is anchored. You no longer need to see how everything will work out to know that it will. You learn to rest in uncertainty, more to breathe in hope, and to walk in quiet strength. This does not mean life becomes effortless, more, but it does mean that your spirit carries a peace that circumstances cannot steal. More, trust beyond sight is an invitation to rise above the limits of human logic and embrace the vastness of divine wisdom. More, it is the bridge between fear and peace, between despair and hope, between chaos and order. And once you begin to walk that bridge, more, you discover that even though the path may not always be clear, it is always leading you somewhere greater than you imagined. Divine timing is perfect, more, though it rarely matches our own schedules or expectations. Human nature is impatient. We want answers quickly, breakthroughs immediately, more, and results without delay. When something we hope for doesn't happen right away, frustration rises and doubt begins to whisper, more. Maybe it will never happen. Yet what feels like a delay to us is often a deliberate alignment in a greater plan. More, divine timing operates on a different rhythm than human clocks. It is never rushed, never late, but always purposeful. Every waiting season, more, every seeming setback, and every detour is shaping something within us or preparing something ahead of us. More, what we see as wasted time is often sacred preparation for a future we cannot yet comprehend. More, think about the times in life when you thought you were ready for something, only to later realize that you weren't. Maybe it was a relationship, more, a career, or an opportunity you longed for. Had it come too early, it might have overwhelmed you, slipped through your fingers, or even harmed you. More. But when it arrived at the right moment, it fit perfectly, as though it had been waiting for you as much as you had been waiting for it. More. This is the beauty of divine timing. It weaves together your growth, your circumstances, more, and your readiness into a tapestry that is revealed only when the moment is right. It teaches you that waiting is not punishment, more, but protection and preparation. The struggle is that waiting can feel like silence. Days turn into months, sometimes years, more, and we begin to wonder if our prayers are forgotten. But silence is not absence. During those quiet seasons, unseen work is happening. More, just as a seed must remain hidden in the soil while roots take shape, more, so too must certain parts of our lives remain underground until the foundation is strong enough to support what is to come. More, divine timing allows roots to grow deep before fruit is visible. If you rush the process, you risk building without stability. More, and what rises quickly may also crumble quickly. Trusting divine timing means surrendering the need to control every outcome. More, it means learning to rest even when things appear delayed. When you embrace this truth, you begin to see waiting not as wasted, but as worthwhile. More, you understand that every closed door is not rejection, but redirection. Every pause is not a denial, more, but a gentle reminder that the best is still being prepared. More, you stop measuring your life by the ticking of the clock and start aligning it with the rhythm of trust. More, there is also humility in recognizing that you do not always know what is best for yourself. Our vision is limited, more, but divine wisdom sees the whole picture. What looks like a setback may be the very thing that saves you from harm. More, what feels like an unanswered prayer may be protection from something you cannot see. Every detour, every delay, more, every disruption is part of a larger orchestration working for your good. This realization transforms impatience into peace, more, because you no longer feel the need to force what is not ready. Living with an awareness of divine timing brings freedom. More, you stop comparing your journey to others because you know each person's story unfolds in its own season. You stop resenting the wait, more, because you realize the wait is shaping you. You stop fearing the future because you trust that when the moment is right, more, nothing can stop what is meant for you. There is deep rest in knowing that you do not have to strive endlessly. You only have to be faithful in the present, more, and the future will arrive exactly when it should. So when you feel the urge to question why things haven't happened yet, more, remind yourself that delay is not denial. When doors close, trust that they are guiding you to better ones. When you wait longer than expected, more, believe that what is coming is greater than what you imagined. Divine timing is not always understood in the moment, more, but when the pieces finally come together, you will see why you had to wait. You will recognize that the path was not random, but intentional, more. And when that moment arrives, it will not be late, it will not be early, it will be right on time. Peace is found in surrender, more, and yet surrender is the very thing most people resist. We live in a world that teaches us to always fight, always push harder, and always stay in control. More, from an early age, we are told that strength comes from holding on tightly, from forcing outcomes, from refusing to let go. More, but the paradox of life is that true strength is discovered not in clinging, but in releasing. More. Peace does not come when you finally manage to control everything around you, because you never truly can. More. Peace comes when you release the illusion of control and surrender what you cannot change into hands greater than your own. More, it is in that sacred act of letting go that a quiet calm fills the heart and lifts the heavy weight that worry and fear have placed on your soul. More, surrender is not weakness. Many confuse it with giving up, but surrender is not defeat, it is alignment. It is saying, I trust that there is a greater plan than mine, more, and I no longer need to carry the burden of forcing everything to happen on my timeline. When you surrender, you are not abandoning responsibility. More, you are shifting your focus. You continue to do what is within your power, but you release what is beyond your control. More, this shift creates room for peace to enter, because peace can only dwell where anxiety is no longer allowed to dominate. More, think about how exhausting it is to fight battles that were never yours to fight. Every attempt to manipulate outcomes, to overthink decisions, more to predict the future, only multiplies your stress. You may find yourself replaying conversations in your mind, more calculating endless what-ifs, and tying your heart into knots over things you cannot undo or foresee. But the moment you say, more, this is too heavy for me to carry alone, something within you begins to loosen. The storm outside may still rage, but inside you, more, a stillness begins to grow. That stillness is peace, and it is born from surrender. More. There is a freedom in surrender that many do not realize until they experience it. Imagine holding a rope in a tug of war, your hands burning. More, your body weary, your heart pounding. You pull with all your strength, refusing to let go, terrified of what will happen if you release it. More, the very moment you let go, the strain ends, the rope drops, the tension disappears, your hands stop burning, and you are finally free. More. This is what happens when you surrender the battles you were never meant to fight. You let go of the rope, and with it, more. You let go of the torment that was stealing your peace. Peace in surrender does not mean the absence of problems. More. It means the presence of calm in the middle of them. Life will still bring challenges, losses, and moments of uncertainty. More. But when your heart is anchored in surrender, those challenges no longer have the power to control you. You begin to respond with wisdom instead of fear, more, with patience instead of panic, with quiet confidence instead of frantic striving. Peace becomes your constant companion. More, not because everything around you is calm, but because you are calm within yourself. Surrender also deepens trust. It shifts your perspective from asking, more, why is this happening to me, to declaring, I trust that even this has a purpose. That shift dissolves fear and replaces it with faith. More, the energy you once spent worrying is now spent living, breathing, and being present. More, you stop rushing ahead into tomorrow and start embracing the gift of today. And in that shift, your spirit grows lighter, your mind clearer, more, your body healthier. Peace is not just an emotion, it is a state of being, and surrender is the key that unlocks it. More. When you finally allow yourself to surrender, you begin to live with open hands instead of clenched fists. More, you stop resisting every change and start flowing with life's rhythm. More. You stop demanding to know every detail and start resting in the assurance that what is meant for you will not pass you by. More, this is where peace is born, at the crossroads of trust and surrender. And once you taste that peace, more, you will never again want to carry the heavy burden of control, because you will know deep in your soul that peace is not something you chase. More, peace is something you allow, and you allow it the moment you surrender. God's ways are higher than ours. More, and this truth reshapes the way we see every situation in life. Human beings are limited in vision. We see only a small piece of the puzzle. More, a single moment in time, a fragment of the bigger picture. We judge events as good or bad based on how they affect us in the present. More, but we often fail to understand the larger story that is unfolding. What seems like confusion, chaos, more, or disappointment to us may actually be the foundation of something greater, something beyond what our minds can grasp. More, when you begin to accept that divine wisdom is far above human reasoning, you release the pressure of having to understand everything. More, and you learn to rest even in the unknown. Think about the times in your life when things didn't go as you planned. Maybe you wanted a certain job, more, a certain opportunity, or a certain relationship, but the door closed. At the time, it may have felt like rejection or even failure. Yet later, more. Looking back, you realized that if you had received what you wanted then, it would have led you in the wrong direction or closed you harm. The closed door, more, which once filled you with disappointment, turned out to be protection. The delay, which once frustrated you, turned out to be preparation. More. This is why it is so important to remember that your perspective is limited, but divine perspective sees the entire journey. More. What looks like a setback today may be the very thing that sets you up for tomorrow. We often try to fit life into the box of our own understanding. More, we create timelines, goals, and expectations, and when life doesn't follow our script, we panic. More, but life was never meant to follow our script. It follows a greater design. God's ways are not confined to our logic. They are higher, wider, deeper, more, and beyond comprehension. Accepting this truth doesn't mean abandoning your dreams or ceasing to plan for the future. More, it means holding your dreams loosely, with open hands, trusting that if they are meant to be, they will unfold in the right way and at the right time. More, and if they don't, it is only because something better is being prepared. There is humility in recognizing that you do not always know what is best. More, the mind may scream for answers, but wisdom whispers, wait and trust. The heart may ache for resolution, but higher ways often require patience. More, this is where trust becomes essential. Trust that even though you cannot see the full path, the one guiding you sees it clearly. More, trust that your steps are not random, but purposeful. Trust that there is meaning even in the seasons that feel like wandering. More, when you live with the awareness that God's ways are higher, you stop resisting every twist in the road. Instead of asking, why me? You begin to ask, what is this teaching me? Instead of clinging to what has ended, you learn to expect what is beginning. More, instead of being crushed by disappointment, you begin to see it as redirection. This shift does not remove pain or confusion. More, but it gives you the strength to endure them with hope. You stop needing to have all the answers and start finding peace in knowing that you are being led. More, even when you don't understand the path. There is also beauty in realizing that higher ways often bring blessings you never imagined. More. Sometimes you receive more than you asked for, though it may come packaged in a way you didn't expect. More. A trial you thought would break you becomes the very thing that shapes you into a stronger version of yourself. More. A loss you thought would destroy you becomes the opening to something greater than you could have planned. More. The wisdom of higher ways turns pain into purpose, obstacles into opportunities, and endings into new beginnings. More. Living with this perspective frees you from the burden of trying to make sense of everything. It allows you to walk with peace in uncertainty, more to rest even when life feels unsettled, more, and to trust that the story being written for you is far more beautiful than the one you could have written for yourself. More, God's ways are higher than ours, not always easier, not always faster, but always greater. And when you embrace this truth, more, you no longer live chained to confusion, but anchored in trust, knowing that every step, every season, more, and every challenge is part of a plan that is far beyond your own understanding. Live in expectation, not fear. These words are more than encouragement. More, they are a call to transform the way you experience life itself. Fear is one of the greatest thieves of joy, peace, and opportunity. More, it whispers lies into the heart, convincing you that danger is ahead, that failure is inevitable, that disappointment is certain. More, fear paints the future in dark colors, leading you to brace for the worst even when the worst has not yet come. More, living in fear creates a heavy atmosphere in your spirit. It paralyzes your steps, clouds your vision. More, and prevents you from reaching the fullness of your potential. Yet expectation does the exact opposite. Expectation lifts your heart, opens your vision. More, and allows you to see the possibilities that fear tries to hide. When you live with expectation, you are declaring that the best is yet to come. More, even if your present circumstances don't yet reflect it. Expectation is not about ignoring reality or pretending struggles don't exist. More, it is about believing that struggles are not the end of your story. More, it is choosing to interpret challenges as setups for growth rather than as signals of defeat. Fear tells you that delays mean denial. More, but expectation reminds you that delays often mean preparation. Fear tells you that closed doors are rejection. More, but expectation knows that closed doors are redirection. Fear keeps you standing still, but expectation urges you to keep moving. More, knowing that something greater is ahead. The mindset you carry into each day shapes the way you walk through it. If you rise with fear, more, your eyes will be fixed on obstacles. But if you rise with expectation, your eyes will be fixed on opportunities. More, consider how powerful it is to wake up each morning not asking, what could go wrong today? But declaring, more, what good might happen today? That simple shift alters everything about the way you live. Suddenly, you are alert to blessings you would have missed, more open to opportunities you might have overlooked, and strong enough to endure challenges with hope instead of despair. More, expectation is not just optimism, it is faith in action. More, it is aligning your heart with the belief that your story is still unfolding in ways greater than you can imagine. Fear feeds on uncertainty. More, but expectation thrives in it. Fear says, I cannot see the way forward, so I must prepare for disaster. Expectation says, more, I cannot see the way forward, but I trust that something good is waiting. These two voices may sound similar, both acknowledging the unknown. More, but one brings torment while the other brings peace. The truth is that you cannot control tomorrow, but you can control the lens through which you view it. More, if you choose fear, you will shrink back. If you choose expectation, you will step forward. More, and it is only by stepping forward that you ever reach the blessings waiting for you. Living in expectation also transforms the way you handle setbacks. More, instead of seeing failure as final, you begin to see it as feedback. Instead of letting disappointment harden your heart, more, you allow it to strengthen your resolve. Expectation keeps your spirit open, believing that even in loss, something new can begin. More, it is what gives you resilience to keep going when the path is hard, because you believe there is something meaningful on the other side. Fear, more, on the other hand, convinces you to quit, whispering that it's not worth trying again. Expectation silences that whisper and replaces it with courage. More, when you choose to live in expectation, you are not denying life's difficulties. You are declaring that difficulties will not define you. More, you are choosing to believe that light is ahead even in the darkest night. You are deciding that your life is not a story of defeat, but a story of growth. More, redemption and purpose. Fear may knock on the door of your mind every day, but you don't have to let it in. Instead, you can welcome expectation. More, which fills your heart with hope and strength. To live in expectation is to live with your head lifted and your heart open. More. Not because everything is perfect, but because you trust that perfection is not required for progress. More. It is believing that no matter how many challenges you face, they are leading you somewhere better. It is refusing to shrink back in dread, more, and instead stepping boldly into each day with hope. And when you live this way, life itself begins to shift. More, you see opportunities where once you saw obstacles, you feel peace where once you felt panic. More, and you discover that what you expect in faith often becomes what you experience in reality. Life is not meant to be lived in constant struggle, fear, more, and worry. It is meant to be lived in trust, in peace, and in faith. When you release the burden of worry, more, you step out of the prison of fear and into the freedom of surrender. When you learn to trust beyond sight, more, you open your heart to a reality that goes beyond what your eyes can see. When you embrace divine timing, more, you stop rushing through life and begin to understand that every delay carries purpose. When you find peace and surrender, more, you stop exhausting yourself with battles that were never yours to fight. When you accept that God's ways are higher than yours, more, you stop demanding answers and start resting in assurance. And when you choose to live in expectation instead of fear, more, you begin to see your life not as a story of setbacks, but as a journey of hope, growth, and fulfillment. The message is simple yet powerful. More, let go and let God handle what you cannot. Stop worrying over what has already been taken care of. More, stop doubting the path when you are being guided with wisdom greater than your own. More, stop fearing tomorrow when the one who holds tomorrow is already preparing the way. Every moment you choose trust over worry, surrender over control, more, and expectation over fear, you step into a life of freedom, clarity, and strength. So today, make the decision to live differently. More, choose to trust when fear rises. Choose to surrender when life feels heavy. Choose to expect good even when circumstances try to convince you otherwise. More. Because when you stop worrying and start trusting, you don't just survive life, you begin to thrive in it. More. You live with a peace the world cannot give and a hope the world cannot take away. And that is the life you were always meant to live.